Why do we do this? What's wrong with tennis or golf? My name is Matthew Kroll.
Hope is not a strategy. My name is Balvin.
And this is the only podcast about movies, specifically the film F1, the movie. And Topam fam, it is my absolute privilege and pleasure to introduce you to today's co-host. Filling in for Shahir, we have the man, the myth, the legend, fresh off the beach from playing Death Stranding 2 on Twitch and YouTube, and one of my absolute favorite folks I've become friends with over my many PAXs over the years. Please give it up for Balvin. What up, buddy?
Yo, thanks, man. Thank you. That was a great intro, bro. I'm not gonna lie. You got me gassed like I matter or something like that.
You do matter, man. So for the people, real quick, talk to the people real quick about the awesome stuff you do, and then I'll get into how you and I sort of found each other.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, my name is Balvin, Lord Balvin on most platforms. Right now I'm just Balvin on Twitch. I'm a content creator, streamer, host, journalist, reviewer. I talk a lot of stuff and noise about games, movies, media, world news, everything. But mainly I'm a streamer on Twitch, and I love video games. That is my main passion right now.
Yeah. Excellent. And we met at the various PAXs, PAX East and PAX West.
Yes.
Over the last 3 to 5 years. Time means nothing at this point, my friend.
Bro, you said 3 years and my heart jumped. I can't believe this is every year the last 3 years, bro. Oh my God.
And we started talking about this a little bit before we started recording, but we have an interesting sort of professional friendship in the sense that this right now is in our various works and worlds. This is very rare, I find. This right now is the first time you and I have spoke over the internet. It's always been in person.
At all, yes. And that's how, it's funny, that's how good our bond is.
Yeah,
you know, it's like we don't...
It's weird, right? Because normally you meet people in these spaces online first, and then eventually it kind of goes back and forth. This has just been the first time we've talked over the internet.
It's the complete opposite. Yeah. This is the complete opposite. Yeah, our brands and our lives are centered online, but we only talk and see each other in person. It's a reunion every single time. Yeah. So it's fun to catch up. But like this is different. So it's kind of weird for us listening home because I'm seeing it on my screen right now, not in person, you know what I mean? But we're making it. Yeah, it's early. This might be also the earliest I've spoken to you as well.
Well, yeah, because normally we're up till what 3. Last time we were hanging out, we were up till 3 a.m. in the Westin lobby playing The Gang, which is
oh my God, The Gang was out. Yes, incredible.
Did I tell you
late nights?
I got to tell you an anecdote. So remember when we were sitting there and I found it on Amazon? I was like, bought it, got the last 4, right? Like then someone else got the last 3, 2, 1. So that actually arrived. And I was looking at it, I was like, this looks a little bit different. I got the German version. It's all in German. I didn't mean to. It just happened.
You stole the last German edition from someone that really wanted it.
So okay, but in my defense, I did go to the actual manufacturer's website and I bought an English one that's coming in mid-July. But I have a friend who I went to Germany with who speaks fluent German and who loves card games, so I just gave it to her. I was like,
that's an incredible gift. Yeah. Wow, that's so thoughtful.
So it worked out. It just, when I got it, my partner Jamie was like, hey, is this game supposed to be all in German? I'm like, it's not in Fuck. Yeah, so I did that. But it was late. What do you want?
It was late, to be fair. We were having a good time. Yeah. That is so funny, though. I can't express to you how hilarious that
But it all worked out. And also, at that very late night gaming session was when we've been talking about doing the podcast together for a bit. And that is precisely when you brought up you wanted to do the film F1.
I pre-ordered this.
You did. So can you tell me,
shot.
Can you tell the folks at home why it was in this bleary-eyed moment that you were like, this is the one that we need to do?
Well, I mean, I figured that there would be other options that were probably going to be way too packed around the time. Like Sinners, for example, that was going to happen. Like that was already out at the time. And the next big release coming was this. And from what I saw of the movie, it was going to be a very kind of nostalgic blockbuster hit. IMAX, Brad Pitt, nothing too crazy. It made sense that you and I could come together over the most masculine movie possible, right? Over just driving cars.
Yeah.
That was my philosophy.
It's good. It's funny. This falls into... and I'm getting further and further closer to this, I believe, than you are. But it does fall into this section of cinema that I call dad cinema. Like, this is stuff that almost any dad you take to this thing would be like, yo, this is my jam.
This rips.
And when you mentioned F1, I got to be honest. I at the time was like, I want to get Melvin on the show. So yeah, sure, I'll do whatever movie he wants. I was like, I don't really. I'm like, sure, I like Brad Pitt. I don't follow F1 at all, but like. I was like, sure, whatever. And so I saw this movie, sort of a double feature day. I went in the morning to go see Jurassic Park Rebirth. Have you seen that yet?
No, I haven't.
Don't. It is not worth your time. We have a whole episode on that as to, I was more angry than upset. I was upset at the other Jurassic Worlds. This one I'm angry at because it would have cost them zero money to make that movie a unforgettable experience. It was just all bad. Well, I'll go into it for a second. The structure was there. The action was there. The CG was there. But it was like they mashed two scripts together and forgot to write any sort of compelling dialogue. And like you could have fixed this with 3 weeks in a writer's room and it would have cost them a minuscule amount of money, if anything, and then it would have meant something. It's like a huge waste of talent and resources.
Damn.
So I left that movie and then I walked immediately out of one theater in New York right into an IMAX cinema for F1.
Hell yeah.
And Balvin, I gotta say, thank you. Thank you for picking this movie because I fell in love with this thing.
Bro.
And we'll get to it. We'll get to it in a second. But I wanted to thank because you're the reason I saw this, and I was like, well, I gotta see an IMAX. I gotta do this thing.
Hell yeah. I mean, it is an IMAX movie. Like I think you have to see it in IMAX. It's dad cinema's accurate, by the way. That's very right. This is very hell yeah. Yeah. You're just sitting in awe, like, I'm just like him. Like,
it makes you feel
was me the entire time.
Yeah, it makes you feel very oddly like, I know the tagline of IMAX is, or some of it is like, feel like you're in the movie or whatever. But the way that they shot this, and we'll get into that in a little bit, and that format really, really does, I think, make me feel the closest to I will ever feel about being behind the wheel of any of these cars or anything like it.
I agree. Yeah. Because I also clarify, I am not in F1 either. Like, I just thought it looked like from the trailers alone, it was how it looked. That's it. The scenes of them driving, that's what caught my eye. And I figured that this in a theater or probably an out-of-body experience. And I don't think I was wrong.
No, I don't think you were. Well, I jumped the gun because I'm too excited to talk about this movie. Let's back up for a second and let's talk about. So you suggested this movie, and again, thank you for it. Did you? What other types of films do you tend to gravitate towards? Like, what would you say your cinematic oeuvre is?
Man, it is a very wide palette, but I will name some of my personal favorites because cinema and movies is something that like I am extremely passionate about, but it's more of a personal thing.
Sure.
I get to kind of dabble on Twitch about it whenever I speak, whenever I just yap for hours about stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like my all-time personal favorite, a little pretentious, but my all-time personal favorite is Interstellar. Okay. But there's numerous reasons for that. It's how it's shot. It's the love transcends all. It's the sci-fi, like stuff like that. Outside of that, I mean, another favorite is Click by Adam Sandler. That's where we're going to jump from. Yeah, we're going to jump from there to there.
We're going, we're moving.
Yes.
Okay.
Just to kind of try to give you an example of what like it gets, but yeah.
What about Click? I haven't seen Click in years. What about Click is the other side of that pendulum swing for you?
So there's the other side. There's a connection as well, right? Because the other side is it's very comedy. It's very humorous. It's not very serious. But where they link up is like love transcends all. Is what that movie. They're both the Click. And there's the same thing basically, right? But I think when you think it's a weird. You don't think about it until I say it out loud. But there's a connection there happening.
You're not wrong. It hurts me to say that you're not wrong.
They're connected a little bit, right? But yes, some other favorites. Parasite. And then one more thing is I love action movies. I love like Hong Kong cinema, martial arts, Ip Man, all varying Asian media. We can go to Thailand, Taiwanese stuff, like Old Boy, The Protector, Ong Bak. Like I'm really big into martial arts films as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes all over the place. I'm thinking about it now, like I'm blanking on this, but I'm naming my favorites. Yeah, it jumps from a wide variety of stuff.
That makes total sense. Actually, if you are a action movie fan, you gave me a perfect opportunity to plug something I did. Basically, I was just on a podcast called Screen Drafts, where basically they take a section of films and you and another person, I was on there with Patrick Willems, we basically got to draft like they were sports teams, action comedy movies. And we had to like do a full draft. If people are interested in that, go check that out. It's on Screen Drafts, their action comedy series. It was so
that
fun.
Sounds sick.
It was fun, and it was like a battle, but it was also like, it was basically me and Patrick like having more so me. Patrick, I think, is a more confirmed and eloquent film discusser. But I feel like I held my own. I feel like I made some big swings and defended them well.
Hell yeah.
But what was I going to say? The action-y portion of it sort of also makes sense too when we're talking about this film, especially because both you and I are not into F1, but the action, I feel like, sort of transcends the interest in the sport. I've only watched maybe like, I don't know, 15 minutes of an F1 race while like at like a vacation house with a friend who was like really into it. And like, did you have that same experience where like, you know, whenever you're talking to somebody and they're really hyped about something and you want to give them the energy back?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So I tried. And I just couldn't follow it. Like when you don't know the drama or the personal stories right away, jumping in is always very hard. Did you found that as well?
Just driving cars.
Yeah,
they're just driving. Like from what you see, it's just because similar thing. I got watched it with a friend as well during like Lewis Hamilton was in the movie.
Yep.
Like Lewis Hamilton's like really big. He's going insane right now, but during one of his big stints in the past few years, I was watching it and I was trying to be enveloped because this is a black F1 driver that's just running the world right now. And I was watching it and I was like, yeah, they're driving these cars really well, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what else is like what's happening, but it didn't process with me, but this helps a lot. I'd say this movie changes your perspective on it. I think. Yeah,
well, because it gave me what I wanted, what I want anytime I'm getting in. I'm not a big sports guy in general, but the thing that I find interesting about sports is when the stories are strong and clear, at least for even an outsider like myself. Obviously, this is a narrative film, and so they're going to put that front and center and make sure that it matters, or at least, well, most movies do. If you're Jurassic World Rebirth, they do not. But this movie actually, I feel like hit like every quadrant it was trying to do. I'm gonna read now the Internet Movie Database description of F1 the movie. And this one is not too much of a shocker, but it says, a Formula One driver comes out of retirement to mentor and team up with a younger driver.
That is okay. I mean, yeah,
sure.
It's not wrong.
It's not wrong. And that is what, if I watched the trailer or knew anything about any kind of movie that was ever in this ilk, that is how I would describe this film.
Right. Yeah. In the simplest way possible. It's driver helps driver. Of
course, the main driver is Sonny Hayes, played by Brad Pitt. And then the young upstart is Damson Idris, played by Joshua Pierce. And they both fucking kill it in this movie. I will say something that I found really refreshing, because again, this is a story, a tale as old as time, Melvin, that I feel like we get these a lot. The older guy comes back to help the young upstart, and then they become friends and they respect each other after turmoil. This, I was really enamored with the way that they actually gave a lot of time and credence to the young upstart Joshua Pierce, and got to I really felt like I got to see Sonny Hayes through Joshua's eyes in a lot of different points. And sometimes in these movies, the young guy's like supposed to be kind of like the dipshit who like isn't gonna listen.
Right.
And,
yeah.
And this felt like it feels like both Sonny and Joshua had the same amount of like redeeming qualities and like shitty destructive qualities, but they like mixed their baggage matched enough where they became a full set. Right? Did you feel that?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, I was watching it and I was genuinely wondering, like, I like both of these guys individually, but when will I love you two? Will I ever? Like, am I gonna really like, am I gonna actually like get it? Because what you said, yeah, they both are fair in their assholeness. And like most movies, the rookie is a hothead. You can't tell me anything, but it was that on both sides of the track, I guess.
Yeah.
Both sides of the track. And I think that about halfway through, I was genuinely wondering, like, when do these guys not stop butting heads? Because there was never a point where you like see the usual shift where he's like, you know what? I'm younger, you're older. Let me listen to you because you are like my OG in this. I should like kind of bow down. That doesn't really happen. They have to kind of meet somewhere eventually. It's never a one-sided thing because I wouldn't listen to Sonny either because that guy is an asshole.
Yeah.
He's a complete asshole. He's a dirt bag.
1,000%. He and I think we get to see, I've seen a couple reviewers say this. I think for Brad Pitt's performance, normally in a Brad Pitt performance, you only like Brad Pitt can do a lot. He has a great range. But normally you don't see the entirety of the range in one character. You get like sad Brad Pitt or funny Brad Pitt or like strong, mean Brad Pitt. But you don't tend to get all of them in the same guy. And I feel like here we kind of did, which was refreshing in a way. His last couple films, I'm going to look him up real quick. I haven't really been keeping up with Brad Pitt lately.
Me either.
He was in, he's an executive producer. These are all executive producers. Where is he acting? I know he was in that Bullet Train, which I didn't love.
No, I turned that one off halfway through. I tried, but it didn't land for me. I wanted to like it too.
Yeah, same. I did not see Wolves with him and Clooney. Another Apple film, I believe. And then he did have a cameo in The Lost City, which was very funny. That Channing Tatum. Why am I blanking on the hilarious actress from Demolition Man? Oh my God, what is wrong with me? Sandra Bullock. Holy shit. And that was a very funny moment with him in there as well. So I haven't really been paying much attention to him, and it was kind of great to see him sort of back in a thing you could tell he and Damson actually like gave a huge shit about. Like they seemingly, and in all the interviews, and I watch a lot of interviews, and some of them you buy and some of them you don't. I truly believe these guys are like in the sport. Like they were like
locked in. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I especially would agree with that with the Brad Pitt point, because this felt, there were several times throughout the movie where I caught myself like grinning. I was like, whoa, like I felt what he just said. Like this is, and making that character likable, because that's a very easy guy to just be an asshole the entire time. But he was a very multidimensional guy. He wasn't just like a raging alcoholic that no one cared about, right? He had an actual thing that made sense to him.
Yeah.
And there were definitely several times where you would think you just get charismatic Brad Pitt, who's a womanizer. I'm gonna get the girl, or I'm brooding and I'm soft and I'm I can't. I don't know, man. It was everywhere in the movie. It was everywhere. But when I caught myself like actually smiling a few times at dialogue, I was like, oh, I'm kind of coming around. He's kind of hot. Like, I'm locked in.
You got a lot of different sides, especially when you add in, even outside of Joshua Pierce, outside of Damson, you get Javier Bardem's Ruben, who's like the owner of the team. Who the chemistry between Javier Bardem and Brad Pitt as like best friends / like God, we can barely stand each other now is real fun.
It was shockingly great. They felt natural together. It was awesome.
And Carrie Condon killing it always. I don't see her in as much stuff as I'd like to. I was like, where do I know her voice from? She's Friday, the suit, the new AI after Jarvis leaves in the MCU. Oh. She's Friday in that. She was also in that Star Wars series, which I did not watch, Skeleton Crew. And the last time I saw her in film, I don't know if you saw this movie, The Banshees of Inisherin. Which is
I want to watch that. I know what it is.
It's great. It's absolutely phenomenal.
That's on my list. I'm gonna get to it.
But so to see these four actors sort of bringing out the best sides of each other was also just really lovely to see. Also, a couple of cameos that I really loved. Sarah Niles, who played Joshua's mom. The last time I saw her, I believe, was in Ted Lasso. And she plays the therapist in Ted Lasso. And it was nice to see her like in a movie of this scale. It is so cool.
Right.
I felt like the cast really, really made me feel like they gave a shit about F1 racing, and therefore I gave a shit about F1 racing.
No, for real. No, absolutely, man. Like I wanted, like once it shifted, like I wanted Joshua to be the guy. Like I really believed in him, and I think that like Damson and Brad like they really, as playing two of a kind of a similar characters, different reasons for being that character. Their on screen time together, there was so much tension between both of those guys that but I knew that. It's like it was the mutual respect too, kind of in the back of the mind too. Mm-hmm. They wanted to like they both got it, but they didn't want to give. It was Brad saw it from like his older guy perspective, whereas Damson being Joshua, he didn't really care that much. Besides, hey, you're the old dog, you're out of the way. I'm the guy now.
Yeah,
but I think that their chemistry was really good. Yeah. I like Joshua a lot. He grew on me a lot throughout the movie.
Well, it's fun because, like, again, I not in the sports world, nor do I have many friends who are, or I don't think I have any friends who are professional athletes of any capacity. But when you get to the top level of a thing, you're, especially when you're really, really young, it does feel like there's a real a temptation to just sort of like get high on your own supply, start loving the smell of your own farts, and become like you're very insular and you're like, I'm the best, whatever. And the dichotomy of these two characters, because it felt like Joshua was getting there, but also still on the losing team. Like they hadn't won a race in the first half, but he still has brand deals. He still gets up and has to do all this stuff.
Social media.
Yeah. And it was an interesting, this is a very minor sort of through line of the movie, but one of the things that I think sort of like the movement of thought or idea between Brad's character and Damson's character was sort of like, in a way this is true, in a way this is not, but I feel like they leveled each other out. Sonny didn't give a shit about perception or social media or any of those things, right? And Joshua did. Now, what I don't like in movies, and I'm glad it didn't do this overtly, it wasn't like, oh no, that's all bullshit, just ignore it because it's not important. They did like Brad Pitt's like, it's just noise, like that, whatever, but it was never like, don't do it, don't engage in it. It was more of a balancing act, which I feel like to survive in any online thing, you kind of need to do. It is noise, but you do have to pay attention to it sometimes because of X, Y, or Z. No one gets to F1 without $40 million in brand deals, etc. Hell, this movie, I think Forbes reported that I think it was 40 million that they got in brand deals to be in this movie. Yeah.
You can tell there were several moments where it's like, dude, at the very beginning of the movie, I think it was after the first race, you just see every brand in the world come on the screen over and over again. And I got it. That's F1 in real life. So I wasn't mad.
Yeah.
But watching it from a movie, I'm like, this is hilarious because I know that every company here paid for this.
I hate to bring it back to Jurassic World Rebirth, but there is a similar level of product.
Why?
It's insane. Like whatever company owns Lay's potato chips and like Mountain Dew and Snickers, it was just everywhere, and they might as well have been put like tattooed on the dinosaurs. It was this close to being that bad. But no, here and again, it's a strength of the movie. It makes sense. It makes the world feel real because that's what F1 is.
Yes, right. And to your point about like, I did like how it's two different POVs of a racer too, right? Because Sonny is older, so he didn't come up in a world where this was already there.
Yeah.
And now sponsors has been like a thing, and being in the eye of the world is one thing, but having a phone that's all like social media based and just Twitter or X, Instagram posting all the time, it's a little different. for someone like Joshua, who like when he comes into it, that is an integral part from the beginning. You can be the best racer alive. Doesn't matter because who cares? Who cares? Like, it doesn't. How do you get to the spot? And he has all this stuff. Like you said, he's on the losing team. They suck. Like, but he still is. He still has. He's good though. He's happy. He's young. He's getting money. His manager is taking him to clubs. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
But
he's got a good relationship with his mom. There was one. I found this out later on into my research. If I have one small gripe with the movie, is it felt like it felt like, and I had this hunch before I researched it, and for once in my life I was right. It felt like Joshua's story had a secondary element that was cut out somewhere, because I feel like we jumped around, especially around the end of the second act into the third. And it turns out there was one. There is an actress. I have to find her again. Where did she go? Oh, Simone Ashley. Apparently she went like on the tour, on the F1, like the movie tour, like the press tour, doing all the talk and junkets. She's been in Sex Education. I think she had a part in Detective Pikachu. She apparently had like, it might have been a love interest, or it might have been a Joshua-esque side story that did get cut on the cutting room floor, which this does happen. And the movie already clocks in at like, God, it was like 2 hours and
two and a half. It's 2.5. Yeah. It's 2.5, pretty sure, right?
2 hours, 35 minutes. So like, that sucks. I don't, it's funny. I'm going back and forth because I would have loved to know like what that story was, because it did feel like there was something sort of like there was an empty space there, but it already is 2 hours and 35 minutes. And if I'm being honest, I'm here for the racing shots and the action of it. So like, I'll take it.
Yeah. The thing with Sunny's love interest is it made sense because she was also like, she was a major part of the team. Yeah. That kind of flowed. Their time wouldn't have been taken away from what we cared about. But I also felt there was in the second, third act in particular with Joshua, the part that sucks is you definitely feel it, because there were scenes that were probably in the movie still that were tied to that. That we didn't get to see the full, the context of. The club one in particular, like that whole arc after he came back, from his thing, I was sitting there, I'm like, well, this feels so weird. Like, what's why is it even in the movie? Like, I don't understand. He's bothered by something, but they're not showing what I think is the full depth to what he's feeling right now.
Exactly. I was actually going to clock that. I'm glad you brought it up. That scene in particular, I bet you it was expensive, so throw it in the movie. But I bet
absolutely.
That felt like the arc of like he just argued with his love interest and like went off to the club because they fought, and then he realizes something and then decides to leave.
I don't even.
But like that's not there. He just like his manager takes him to the club and is like, I don't want to be at the club, and he leaves.
I was like, it felt so out of place. I was like, what? Yeah. But they kind of put in, I don't know if there's it before or not, but the reason for it was like the girl came up and talked to him and asked him to introduce her to somebody else.
Yeah, to another racer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna go home. But really? Like this is not his character. He would at least, we didn't see him having fun at all out there.
Yeah.
Like, it was, even if I would get it if he would have changed his mind of it. There's a race tomorrow. I understand. He's stressed out.
Yeah.
But there was not a moment of any kind of him in that scene. He was just sitting there sad.
Yeah, it was odd. It almost feels like that scene could have been actually in the first third of the movie if that other plot was there. Like, I don't know. Again, so this movie, is directed by Joseph Kosinski, who did Top Gun Maverick. And they started filming this movie 10 days before the strike. And then the strike happened. So they had already started and like, it was a bit of a rough patch in the beginning. But then also, just like Top Gun Maverick, basically the cinematographer, Claudio Miranda, and Sony developed, I don't know if you've heard about this, but I think it's called the Rialto system. And basically for Top Gun Maverick, it was a way to take high-end cameras and basically move the guts away from the body from the sensor so you could put them in cool spots on fighter jets, right? Here, they shrunk it down. And so that's why there's like 8 to 15 different cameras on these. I believe they were F2 cars kitted out to look like F1 cars. I believe that is the cars they actually drove. And I talk about that because this movie was, from what I understand, completely lousy with footage. Like, it had so many angles and cuts, and they could literally make whatever they wanted. And the fact that the strike was slowing them down, I think they were working on this for so long. Like, they had so many options of what to do with the final cut, and sometimes in films that can really damage it. That can really slow it down and make it feel bad. I think that that they basically, Joseph and his editing team, found the right story to tell with their literally probably hundreds of hours of footage, and managed to make it like flow in a way that was both exciting and actually, I didn't feel like the runtime was like over. Like, I felt like I was in it the entire time. You feel the same?
Yeah, no, I agree. No, I feel like I wouldn't have wanted more per se, but I didn't feel like I was there too long. There was a great balance of the racing stuff. I was fed very well on that aspect. I'm not gonna lie. There was a lot of races in the movie. That's what I wanted to see. But yeah, but I know there was never a point in time where I was like, damn, is it still on? Like, whenever it ended, I was like, damn, it's already over. But I also wouldn't want them to push that any further, because I think it could have got a little redundant if we would have stayed there too long. But no, I was fully sacked, because, man, I don't want to jump the gun on the conversation, but while we're talking about it, the racing scenes, like the visuals and how they were, the audio of the cars. Like, I'm not even a car guy like that. So nothing to me is, their cars are cool. That's thumbs up. That's all I got. Right. So, but in this, man, I came out of this being like, should I watch F1? Because this is the sickest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Same. I had that, and I stopped myself because I don't have the money to blow on this, but like, I have a PlayStation 5 and a PSVR 2. And so I was like, do I just go buy Gran Turismo 7 now? Is that what I'm doing? Like, I wanted to buy and I'm like, I don't like racing games like that. Like, I don't play them. But I was like, oh no. And I was like, I'll wait till it's on sale. And I haven't pulled the trigger yet.
No, I'm gonna do it. Whether it's Forza or Gran Turismo, it doesn't matter. Like, it actually has to be Turismo, because that was different than Forza ones. Yeah, man. Even the opening of the movie, it wasn't F1. I think it was NASCAR. Yeah. But dude, it was Daytona 500. Yeah. That scene that immediately hooks you into it. Mm-hmm. I knew if that was an example was coming forward, I knew that it was going to be exactly what I wanted, bro. Yeah. That was low-key one of my favorites of the entire movie. Honestly, it was the opening race, because the tension in that one was insane. Yeah. Like, I couldn't breathe during that scene.
It puts you right where the movie, I think, where the film is really trying to get you into that sort of like, okay, like, pun intended, but like, buckle up. Like, this is you're going to be on this ride with us for the next 2.5 hours, and this is what it is.
Yeah.
On the note of the racing in the movie, from a structural and even from an editing perspective for the story, the thing I really liked about it, because I've seen a few racing films, and I feel like this one has a lot more actual races in it. Obviously, the way they're filming it, and we can get into sort of the structure of how they did that outside of the technical stuff later. But like, that's what they're putting on display. So I was a little worried that the races would all start feeling the same. But I never actually got that feeling, and I think I clocked wide. I'm curious to pick your gamer brain about this. So again, we don't follow Formula One. We don't know.
No, we don't.
But the thing that I found really fun, even though I didn't understand it until the movie explained it to me, was how they started moving up in the ranks. It wasn't just like, oh, one racer got the fastest, hooray. It was Brad Pitt's character, Sonny, was basically playing with the rules and the structure of the F1 racing circuit, not just the race itself, to call out pace cars if there was gravel on the track that he spread there by air quotes accident, or like there was a lot of tricky things. I was like, oh, he's gaming the fuck out of this. Like, this isn't just driving. Well, it's driving skill, but it's in a different way. It's when you get to that level when you're playing a game where you're like, yeah, I know all the mechanics, but how do I stretch this? How do I break it to get that like better time or that better score, right?
Right. Yeah, man. Dude, I'm going to be honest. I'm totally honest. I've played a lot of racing games in my life.
Okay.
Like, even if I've not been super into like, driving stuff, I've played a bunch of them. And even like, I'm talking about art, like Need for Speed, Midnight Club, to like now Ford, like stuff like that. I never knew until this movie that Slipstream was real. I did not know. I did not know that was a real thing. That was a tactic to be used in racing.
It's just Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I was like, this doesn't, when you're driving behind and you get a boost. It's for those behind you.
Yeah. I
didn't realize it was like, no, there's science behind why that actually. I looked at about there. I was like, oh, this is a scientific thing. It makes sense. But to your point, yeah, with Brad like playing defense almost and being a midfield, because I love sports.
Yeah.
So I outside of this, right? Because I won't lie, F1 is again never made sense to me, but. Between Brad like playing or slightly playing defense and kind of like being the orchestrator for Joshua to succeed, and the way they were kind of like he would get in front of a car or even whenever they'd have to beat a car out of pit stops, like all those different things, it would change how every race would work. And then what I liked a lot too was them cutting back to the team who were also making call outs. Yeah. I had no idea that there's like 5 people on the sticks that are like giving out plays basically like, yo, stay on, change your tires. Like, I had no idea. So every race, the conditions would change based upon, first off, are Sonny and Joshua going to cooperate? That's number 1. Number 2, what is Sonny going to do? Because he's playing Twisted Metal. Again, I did not know that it was actually legal to hit people, right? But you're not. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that. So, but I really did. It changed my perspective on it, bro, because watching Sonny get Joshua to the front was the most interesting part to me for most of it. Because I'm like, how could he be so useful in 12th place to get Joshua up ahead? But they're showing it every single time where it's he's knocking somebody out, or the safety car bit where he kept like resetting. I didn't know that's how this stuff worked.
Yeah,
I had no idea that there's all these different like game rules that you could add to it. Where if I'm in 11th place and I crash out or whatever, now a safety car comes in and now these cars are held back. Now my guy in front has a free shot to stay in his place. I didn't know that's how it works.
Or the guys in the back get to go to the pit stop, get fresh tires, or like I forget when it was good for their tires to be fresh or warm or whatever. But like all of that pacing gives you the quarter second, eighth of a second, like whatever it is. Again, I don't know the terminology. Apparently, I've heard mixed things about how accurate to F1 like all this stuff is and isn't. It's more, I think it's hypothetically correct is sort of the like, which is kind of where I want a film to land in this world for me.
Yeah, same.
I don't want this to be a sim. I want this to feel like a magical thing that people are like, game in the system.
Right.
I really loved the gamification of how that was all handled. I also, I didn't fully understand like, that I think one of the reasons why I don't gravitate towards F1 or like, again, I like game theory. I like even football or soccer. Like the only parts of it that I truly like is the plays and like trying to basically do a play that will beat the other team's play. Like I like the strategy, not the physicality, I guess. Like it's impressive, of course, but it's just never been something that's caught my eye. F1 and racing in general, overall, has always not felt like a team sport to me because you only see really, truly, for when you're looking at a glance at the one racer. But here, to your point, like you get the 5 people making the calls. You have the pit crew. You actually do weirdly, the owners a little less so, but like, it does like this movie made it feel like, oh, there is a team, there is a strategy. Yeah. And that's that teamwork more than just movies like this that are like the team has to come together or it can't work. This is This felt like an actual like, oh, wait, no, this thing that seems very individualistic, like actually cannot be that way. And the movie will move us through the narrative of it to show us that and show us how it can work. In a sea of films where friendship and camaraderie and teamwork is the solution all along, this actually felt natural, like in a way.
No, because I mean, even like, so like from the outside looking in, like I'd always know like how important a pit stop was, obviously, right? The crew, it's a hard job to like change an entire car set of tires in like 3 seconds, right? Or even outside of whatever they did, they went beyond just the tires itself, but they were like repairing the entire car at one point, right?
Yeah.
Or whenever like they placed in lower rankings in one race prior, so in the next race they got advantage in getting better tires or whatever earlier. I think something like that.
I think you only have so many tires per circuit, and you use them up like grenades in a game, like a resource.
Yeah, like stocks. Yeah, exactly. It was showing that it is the power of friendship in its own way, technically speaking. But if you're not all on board, it's not going to work. Yeah. Like if one person messes up the dolly to get the car up, then it's not going to work. You know, it's if the team that's calling the shots are not in agreement to what the plan is, it's not going to work. Like you have. Everybody kind of has to be. There was some seniority on the board of like the call out to whatever, but like still, but they were all talking to other people too, because sometimes one person will be talking to the drivers, then one person calls out to the pit stop team of like, hey, y'all do this for this thing. Like being the strategy behind, or the brains behind the entire operation. I just never considered it, because whenever I'm watching it, as not even as in Twitter clips, right? Yeah, I'm not considering like, oh, this pit stop crew is being guided by somebody of what they should do, and it's discussed in advance of before the car gets there. I'm like, that makes sense, because they can't just know what to do, right? Like you have to have some level of like plan behind it. So I think the camaraderie was really cool.
And to that point, I think another thing that they do from a technical perspective is obviously the racing is front and center, but then Kerry Condon's Kate, who is the senior engineer or basically designer of the car, her figuring out ways to like basically work with Brad Pitt's Sonny, and like he wants to go faster in turns. So she comes up with the engineering feat to be able to try to do that and shave a second off. Even I believe the character's name is Jody, played by Callie Cook, who like the woman who like drops the wrench and it goes over and it messes, not a wrench, it was like a ratchet, an air ratchet. And like eventually like she comes to terms, like there was a really great moment of like, actually in this movie, I feel like it doesn't do a treatise on it, but I like that it mentioned it, like the inherent sexism that can be in this as well. Like both of these women like had to fight in different ways harder than the men did to get where they wanted to be. The Jody character asks Sonny to like not stand up for her because like she fucked up. And what, you know what I loved? Sonny in the moment, and when he's in the ice bath, he's like, yeah, shit, sorry. Yeah, that was fuck. Oh, okay, got it. Like, it wasn't like I was just doing this.
It was trying to help. Yeah, it was like, oh,
very refreshing.
My bad. Yeah. You're right. I fucked up.
We see a lot of, even backing up from that, in the different, either in the engineering or in the pit crew, like you get a lot of time there, and going with the power of friendship overall, the thread that I really liked, and actually, and we're in full spoilers now, but the visual thread that you get, that the transcendence of both Sonny and Joshua's personalities have completed, and they've bettered each other, is every race, Sonny takes some of the older school pit crew out running on the track in the morning. And as the movie progresses, even after Sonny does eventually leave for reasons, Joshua gets everyone out on the track, and it's the pit crew, it's the engineers, it's the call out team, it's everybody. And you're like, the teamwork is now making the dream work. And it's like a really cool thing to see every element of this team like doing a thing together. It's small, but it really did like solidify that for me.
Yeah, I mean, the jogging part, especially because it's just Sonny jogging, right? In the beginning, it's him jogging every single morning. And then you see Joshua look at him every single time he's doing something, whether it's like doing the cards in the basket or it's him running early. And then it was 2 pit members. Then it was 4. Then it was 5. Then it was 10. And it was everybody. Yeah. And then I didn't realize, the movie makes you realize how special it is after like kind of programming you to know about it. Whenever Joshua pulls the socks out, it's like, hey, y'all, tradition, it's family. We got to do this thing. And then even with how I kind of saw it coming, but like a lot of it, but it was as cheesy as it was. I was still hyped whenever they were running, and then they all slow down and they're like, wait, is that Is that the guy? And the camera changes. It's like, hey, yo.
Yeah. Well, and that's good filmmaking to me. If you can take a well-worn trope that most of us feel like that's fucking cheesy, man. Why are you doing this? But when it works, it's a trope for a reason. And when you have talented enough people behind these things crafting it, like you're like, yeah, that I've seen it 100 times. This is still great. Like
it still hits. Yeah.
I love that so much. And I think I'll spin it back a little bit. I think one of the things that actually does make this film, it helps tie all the speciality together, is the fact that for a lot of the driving, it is the actors in the cars. This is not like, they're not like, Damson and Brad are not in a green screen with a wind machine, like just going
in a warehouse, just doing this.
Yeah. They're out there, and they trained, I think, for 6 to 7 months. I don't think they did every stunt. I imagine in a lot of the wides, it is not them. But they got to go out on most of the tracks that they shot on. And they lived this life for, I think, approximately like 2 years, roughly, of their, maybe a little bit less, of their own lives. And you can tell, like there's so many cameras on those cars, and I love the Rialto system minis that they built so we could actually like see all of these things. Like I know Brad Pitt even called out, and again, this is not taking away from what the cinematographers are doing because they're doing 95% of the work. But I always love when an actor's like, actually, I had this one thing because they built this, and I wanted there to be able to see a camera that could see both the tire and the wheel at the same time. Because when the tire hits a bump, you would see the tire do the bump, and then you'd see the wheel when an actor is getting that into it and working both appropriately and not overstepping their bounds with the cinematographer and their team, it really does make actually like matter, and because then the actor's going to deliver the best performance because they're excited about the shot. And it feels like there was just a lot of that with them in the cars. I never questioned it for a second that it was like, when I was looking at the helmets, like, oh yeah, they're doing it.
No, dude, like that camera system where it would like live like swap from one angle to another one, and you would see them in the cockpit, right? When you would see like that angle of them being like scrunched up in this small little thing, and the turning. Like the turning and the shakiness of it really made you feel like how heavy what they were doing was. And then to the sport aspect, right? Obviously, I know that they're driving cars at Mach speeds that they have to train some level of like physicality to get in shape to do this stuff. But I like that we saw so much of that throughout the movie of how important like hand-eye coordination was, or how much working out they actually, because it's a sport movie at the end of the day, right? So it showed how much of the physical aspect of it was important. And that was reflected a lot with the cameras, because any turn that would happen, you would feel how fast they were going. Yeah. Even if it was, magic for the movie, you could still feel like really, my favorite part of how they kind of foreshadowed this a bit too. I clocked it whenever, they, after the later on with spoilers, but every time, Sonny got in the car, he would be more like in stress or pain than I thought was regular. Right. And I thought he just had a small helmet. I was like, why? Every time Sonny gets in the car, he just looks so uncomfortable. Like, why does he? But also, he wouldn't get out either at pit stops. Yeah. Right. But I think whenever you show that front angle camera on him all the time, that like adds to that layer with a hint of why he looks so uncomfortable all the time. Yeah. But I really loved how fast all the cars felt. You really felt like you were there. Yeah. During every racing scene. It's funny, the Sonny being uncomfortable. I did clock that at first, and I was like, oh, I imagine, because you kind of learn his history a little bit, but from the accident he was in, but you don't find out until later. When Javier Bardem's character basically figures out, when Ruben figures out that Sonny's injuries are far worse than he had let on, and he should not be allowed to be doing this. Bro does not have a spine, man. Like, he's not here. Yeah. So it's like having that clock in the beginning where you're like, okay, like that. Oh, shit. All right, we got that. Yeah. Yeah. What was also really nice too is, so here Sonny's a character that went through an incredible trauma and sort of came back and tried to find sort of more the love of racing.
when Joshua gets into his accident, and his injuries are not as serious, but it's sort of like another element of the wake up call from like the younger, cockier person. I think like what I liked about that was he was very even like still jealous of like, and as any of us would be, like he's injured. Right. He can't be out there. He's supposed to be the star. Now they're starting to win when he's gone. Like, right. And I loved seeing that character take the story arc of like almost going into darkness and into sort of like becoming a worse dude, but like through honestly the strength of the team. Kind of getting caught and going back on the rise again. Like it felt both real. This is so rare in a movie like this. It felt like the emotional arcs could actually happen. Like a lot of times Joshua's character, if they did have a positive turnaround, it would have been ham-fisted and it would have been like, oh, but now we're all friends because
I'm grateful to be alive. You know, like I shouldn't even be here. You know, like, man, like, thank you for having me. Yeah.
But it didn't. It felt like an actual, like, and again, I'm so sorry. I keep going back to Jurassic World Rebirth, but like, if we're looking at the way humans interact with each other in social situations, especially on teams across varied senses of time, like this is how you write a human beings. Like this movie F1 does it great. And I cannot stress how much it is more a walking Lay's billboard with Scarlett Johansson's face. Again, sorry, I will say this. ScarJo and Mahershala did phenomenal work with what they were given. They were just given nothing. They tried very hard. Sorry, I'm still angry, man. It's
I understand.
But no, I think that's what really sold this movie, what sold F1 for me, is this is a sport that I am not necessarily interested in, even though it is visually breathtaking, that it tied it all together for me with characters. I cared about every character in this movie. And there's not a lot of films I can say that like is true. I mean, not summer blockbusters anyway, you know?
Right. I mean, see, to your point too, like it definitely did feel like I was watching something that could have really happened. Like I thought I was watching an actual F1 like story in front of me because of how, whenever he came back, there's a really easy, like they could have felt really easily into him being more humble after that, more reserved. You know, especially because, and I love this, it was his fault that it happened. Like he made that decision. But he didn't come back and immediately was like, oh man, you know, Sonny, you were right, bro. Like, he's like, nah, fuck y'all. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm still because the world kept turning and another driver came in and the backup was already there. He came in and the brand went up for the first time like ever. Mm-hmm. But this was also kind of off the heels of him building it up. They had their first like actual decent placement before he got, injured. Yeah. But then I don't know how spoiled we are.
No, go deep. Well, okay, we're well past it. Okay, now.
Well, because when that scene happened, bro, because something bad's gonna happen. Eventually, it was going to. Well, they weren't gonna. Whatever.
Yeah.
When that happened, again, I know F1 and driving's been around for a long time, and they're 100 years now. They've got such great security measures and protections. Yeah. Bro, I thought he'd die. Whenever he flew over and did, I was like, whoa, is he out of the movie now? Because that was a bad accident. This is not the plot that I expected.
It's like a quadruple flip. I mean, they're jet engines on wheels. And so they're flying. It flies through the air. The crash is brutal. And then it's on fire for a while.
You're like, there's an explosion. And then Sonny has to pull him out. And I'm like, should he do that?
Yeah.
This doesn't feel safe, right? But he can't wait. No, he does a Star Fox 64 barrel roll through the sky 4 times. I genuinely thought
Slippy is just like screaming Fox in the background.
Yeah, exactly. Like I thought at least, I guess maybe he wasn't dead, but he's done racing for sure. Like this is over with. But but that scene, but it really that added so much more to like the feeling of that moment for me because again, a crash is gonna happen. He was gonna spin out. He was not gonna win that race.
Yeah.
But to lose it like that, it's like, oh my God. But that added so much to him coming back and be like, you know what, bro? I could be humble. I could be thankful that I'm alive. No, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
y'all need me still. Like, I'm still that dude. Like, and I like that they didn't try to humble him. He didn't go through an arc of like, oh man, I can't drive anymore. No, Josh was the talent. Like, he is the guy.
And he came back and did the work.
The guy.
He was in the simulator, like, just going and going and going.
Every day. Yeah. Trying to do that particular moment, too, because if he would have got that would have been their win. Like, that would have been their first big moment. And they could have really easily, just gone to the whole, like, darkness of racer. Oh man, I fucked up. No, he's a young stallion, bro. Like, this is fire under the sea, especially with Sonny with the car, with bobbleheads and in the crowd. Like, oh, Sonny. Like, no, that's supposed to be him.
No,
that's
1,000%.
supposed to be him.
Another thing too that I think helped sell us feeling like this could have happened in F1, the air quotes realism of this film, was also how they did film it. So beyond just the cameras on the cars, they actually basically were like the imaginary team is called Apex GP. They filmed, I believe, between the 2023 and 2024 seasons, where they basically were allowed at Silverstone in the UK, they were allowed to set up an actual garage between Mercedes and Ferrari. And they shot a lot at these places, like the pits looking out and sense. All the stuff. Like, they got enough access, and it took a long time to do it. I think Red Bull actually was like, because Mercedes helped kit out the cars for this movie, I believe. Right. Red Bull was I don't know about this. Like, are you going to make us look bad? Because I think one of the Mercedes people was an executive producer on the film or like something. And they had to go back. The directors and team had to go back and be like, no one is. Yeah. And that's another thing I really liked about this movie. There was no like bad team. It was just like, everyone was respect, but they just wanted to win. So like you see all these other teams, but it's not like, oh man, fucking Ferrari's a piece of shit.
Ferrari is and fuck Ferrari. There was no moment where one racer would just bump shoulders with one of you like, good luck out there, nerd. There was never so goddamn refreshing. It's just nice that trope is one that it barely works, and they just said no. You know what I wonder though, to the earlier point about how a longer cut was there's always a longer cut, but there's a lot was definitely like removed from the movie. I wonder if there was maybe I missed it, but maybe it was the other race. There was definitely like some seeds planted with Joshua and Lewis Hamilton's character.
Yeah.
Because they kept looking in the last race, they kept looking at each other. I don't know, just because they're both British, because they're from the same area. Yeah. But there was in the last one in particular, there was a lot of moments. It could have been just like, oh guys, look, it's Lewis Hamilton, but it felt like there was something deeper that might have been there between those two in particular.
Yeah,
even if it was just like a press conference or a social media post. Just I think an arc might have been there, maybe.
Yeah,
I just in the very end, I noticed a lot of times that was the only antagonistic thing I saw from a different racer was them like having that really weird like
glance,
eye to eye moment. Yeah, but then on the track that was like the battle at the end. They could have been that, because it was Joshua and him in the last race were the ones that were kind of going back and forth. But I don't know. I thought that there could have been something more there. I felt like
I can see that. Actually, on the point of that last race, let me ask you this: I was worried the entire time of this movie because you kind of know that like Brad Pitt is gonna win, right? Like
how do you win satisfying me?
How do you have that happen and allow it to not feel bad for me, the audience member?
Right.
Do you feel like they managed to pull that off?
Absolutely. I mean, I think so, because I had the same fear, but I had that a lot throughout the entire movie, right? But I'm like, there's no way on the last race that one, Brad Pitt is not the winner, and number two, that they're not the winner in general. They're gonna get the win here, and I think I liked how, Joshua and Lewis Hamilton had their own, it was going to be Joshua. Like they built it up really well with the whole red flag thing. And it was just 4 cars left and it was one big, battle. I think what really, cause they got me. I thought that something bad was going to happen because they showed, in the locker room, whenever before the race, Sonny was like in by himself and he was kind of like feeling like, a little fucked up because of, I guess, his injuries.
Yeah.
I was worried that was going to come back up later in the race, but it didn't, thankfully. Mm-hmm. But what got me and why I was satisfied and happy was just how they shot the last scene.
Yeah.
Because whenever they cut back and he was like in the zone, as someone that is, I've played sports, but any kind of competitive thing where there's video games, esports, or basketball, football, whatever, there is like a phenomena called the zone that exists that people talk about that's kind of unexplained from like scientifically, but you just do things unconscious. You're just kind of going, right?
They called it. He called it flying in this movie, but that's what it is.
Yeah, flying. Yeah, that was the equivalent, right? So I knew like whenever the sound like got muffled out and it was just him in the car and he like got in the zone, I'm like, oh my God, they're doing it. When then they cut back to the girl, it was so cheesy, but it was so good. They cut back to the engineer. She said, he's flying.
Yeah.
And then for just like a minute straight, it's just him driving. I was like, oh my God.
It works. Yeah, it works so well. And again, it's one of those things that shouldn't. And it's a testament to the craft that this movie was made with, that a cheesy as fuck moment like that, you actually, like, I got misty. I was like, fuck, I got
choked up. I got choked up too. Yeah, bro, it hit me.
It's a combo of the movie the movie made you care about every character enough to have that actually work and feel earnest. And I love that they, from a technical perspective, they held out on the full, sort of just front and center shot on the cars until the air quotes flying moment. And then you kind of, it's almost like a pure, like what the driver would see with no, and I know there is polish, but like it was crafted to look as pristine and untouched, I think, as it possibly could and still have it look good.
I just love the audio and how they did that scene so much. Like the way they made it, like they made it silent. You can hear him breathing. It was kind of like you heard what he was hearing and you heard nothing. It was just, he was flying.
Yeah.
Now I'm glad you said you got misty eyed too. I got choked up, bro. I was like, oh my God, he's flying.
Listen,
he's flying.
The best dad movies do it.
Exactly.
Two last things. One, how did you feel about, actually, I guess it's really one question or one statement, but the question is, how did you feel about Sonny's cards that he kept pulling and putting in his pocket? And not just that, but that at the end of the movie, you don't actually see what card he ever pulled on that race.
Yeah. So I liked it. It was interesting. Like they kept, teasing it, it adds character to someone like that because you're wondering the entire time, like what is happening there.
Yeah.
They did cock tease a little bit at the very end where he pulls it out, looks at it, and then but you don't see it. He does. Yep. And they even mentioned, like in a scene prior, she says like, why do you never, I don't know if it was the engineer, if it was Joshua, but someone said like, why don't you look at the card ever? I forgot who it was. I think I thought it was really cool. I guess I'm wondering, was that the entire time, since he's a gambling man, right?
Yeah.
Was that deciding his fate? Like, did that choose like what he was doing next?
Yeah, I don't know. I normally am not a fan of things like this. I normally don't like little open-ended teaser things that, like, I don't know. I normally don't vibe with it. I think, and I did here. I liked it a lot. I like that we never saw it. I like that he looked at it and we don't see it. I was reading some reviews online where people were like really mad at that for some reason.
Yeah.
And I was like, why doesn't this bother me? Because normally this is a thing that bothers me. And I think it's because of one tiny thing. On his jacket or on his helmet or something, there's a 7 of spades. I don't know what that means or whatever, but that felt to me like that was the card that he was always looking for. And because we have that element of that already on his character, if the camera pulled back and we saw that it was the 7 of spades, I think it would have been a cheesy moment that would not have survived like the he's flying moment survived. I think it would have been something that
I agree.
You can connect internally with the character and kind of have that moment mean what you think it means and still have it be way more effective than it was like, he got the card. You know what I mean?
He finally drew it. He finally drew the one. Finally. No, I was thinking that as you were saying that too. Yeah, I agree that would have been the cheesy moment that would have not hit. Yeah. I think is if you show the card. I like it being open because also what more does that add to his character already that I need to know about? Exactly. You know what I mean? Like he's already developed. This would probably add something else that I'm like, Now I will say that. How did you feel about the last scene? Like, well, the entire last sequence after he won. And then he's just from that, whenever he leaves the podium, what did you think about that? What were your feelings on?
He goes to the Baja race that he was going to go to before Ruben pulled him out. Look, I think, okay. It's weird and cheesy, but it plays with his character. And I will say, if his character is that he just loves racing and wants to do all the different races, he's just going to go back, like, this is why I like it. I think I just kind of nailed it in my own mind. Sonny as a character is pretty broken. Like he's not doing okay. He seems to only be doing okay when he's chasing a racing victory. Now we can go for hours if we wanted to about the mental health ramifications of like how appropriate or good for a person that is, but that's who he is. That's what we've seen for 2.5 hours. So from that obsessive compulsive kind of vibe, yeah, it makes total sense that he goes out there and does basically Baja dune buggy racing for like $50 or something. And I like it because I forget, there's a hint that one of the younger guys knows who he is, but the other guys who are running that like beach racing league, like don't. And I like that there's not like he did the like, it's just like, here's here's a beach bum who just drove up in his shitty Jeep with a crappy surfboard and wants to race our race. Like, okay. I liked it. I stayed through the entirety of it. It did feel like it, again, pardon the verbiage, but it felt like a well-earned victory lap for the character. If the movie was lesser than the sum of its parts and that happened at the end, I'd be like, fuck you, movie. But like at this time, I was just sort of like, he's doing it. Like, how did you feel? Yeah. That's my vibe of it. Did that bounce you off a bit?
No. I was just curious because I remember after I wasn't like upset about it. I was a little not confused. I forgot that until after I watched it. I forgot that like that was his initial plan before this thing, and so it was him going. It was his victory. He earned that. I'm going to do what I plan to do anyways. Yeah. I thought that what was leading up to it. It's not that it was the whole movie's cheesy. I'm not like mad at that. It was just funny of him like leaving and not saying anything, being all mysterious, and then the girl looking for him and him like standing on the balcony, you're like looking for me.
I also sorry. You know what I loved about the end of the romance arc, which I felt like the romance arc actually worked. A lot of times it doesn't, and it feels like it works here. Yeah. I loved he's and it shows he grows a little as a person. He says something like, normally I'd just say, see you down the road, but he changes to, can I see you down the road? And
can I see you down the road? Yeah.
That was like, it's so hard to pull off old guy cool that wouldn't say that line normally and then change the way the line work. Like it feels good and appropriate, like what you'd want it to be now, but oftentimes those characters don't do it, and when they do it, it feels cheesy. This didn't feel cheap. Like it felt like he learned something, or like he grew in a way. Yeah.
No, I know, and I agree. I thought it was so funny to see him stand there being like, "Hey, found me." But I think that one thing that I was going to ask you about is that, how do you think? I think that this movie is still good with just the meat of it and how it looks without Brad Pitt. Mm-hmm. But this movie really felt like. I was reading this morning. I forgot what article said this, but it put my thoughts to words really well. It felt like this was a movie star movie. And there's a really big like conversation about movie stars kind of being dead in Hollywood right now, right?
Yeah.
But this felt like a movie star's movie. Like Brad Pitt was just not just Brad Pitt, but like he was, his aura in essence, like, was all over the film. So there were moments that I don't think that many other people could have done what, and Damson did great too. Don't get me wrong. I love Damson in this, but as like the main guy, this felt like, oh, this is the movie star's role. Like I'm just the cool guy. You know what this felt like to me? I left the theater feeling like I spent only $5 on popcorn and a drink compared to now popcorn and a drink is like $25. Right. You know what I mean?
You were traveling back in time.
I was like 2009 seeing this in the summertime. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was curious to how you'd think like that, if or how true that is, or how this felt at least.
I agree with the feeling 1,000%. I do know there's tons of discussion about sort of the death of the movie star. And what's interesting is the movie stars now, I feel like either they A, have to be already established, but then B, right now it's more about IP than movie stars. So, of course. So, you know, you got the Marvelification of everything, even, again, Jurassic World, all of these things that are, you know, Superman, whatever. Like, all of these things are tied to a larger brand identity. And actually, this goes through, I could go into a bit of like media study and analysis about this.
That's why I was scared asking this.
I'm so sorry. It can get I'm sorry, / you're welcome. No, the way that this is sort of working, and we're kind of seeing this, and I'm curious, I'll toss a question back to you at the end of this with my answer, but across the spectrum of media, whether we are talking about a Brad Pitt level movie star of yesteryear that still gets to feel like they're in, like this movie feels like an old school movie star movie, even down to us YouTubers and Twitch streamers, like across the other end of sort of like the video media spectrum. It feels like big end stuff was pure IP now for the last 10 to 15-ish years. And the smaller stuff, YouTube and Twitch, feels like it is more personality driven, like what would essentially be tiny movie stars. Back in the day, you wanted to know everything a movie star was doing. You wanted to see what they were wearing. You got paparazzi following them. You got all this other stuff. Here, because of Twitch and YouTube and our respective careers, like people can catch up with us fairly easily. They know what's going on. They know what we're playing, what we're thinking, etc. So you get that vibe from this end of the spectrum. With this movie in particular, I don't think that studios are terribly interested in doing it anymore, which is odd because I think this movie will make a lot of money. I think Jurassic World Rebirth will not make a lot of money. And I think that there's only a few people that can really carry something like this. Top Gun Maverick, the director's previous film. Tom Cruise, right? The weird thing about Tom Cruise, though, is Tom Cruise is a movie star without question, the king of the movie theater. Right. But I don't think I've ever felt that Tom Cruise was human. And I don't mean that in like an insulting way. I mean that
I know what you mean.
He's just an avatar of the movies. Like Brad Pitt feels like a human man actor.
No, I agree. Yeah. So I see what you're saying.
Tying this all together, I think the reason why this was able to do what it was able to do, and the reason why it was able to cook as long as it was able to cook, was also, you know, not only the timing of when it was made, but the fact that you are bringing in the feeling that you just described, the 2009, like the movie star leading a movie, but also F1 is an IP. And you're putting them together, not like Brad Pitt is now a superhero in this franchise, and now it's whatever, it's Booster Gold doing whatever the fuck. This is a character they designed to be in their franchise movie that is not meant to continue on and sell toys and do whatever. Like they've gotten to take the best of both worlds and smash them together. So I think that is why it feels that way and why it works and how it was able to be made. I have a prediction. I'm curious your thoughts on, especially being in the content creation space. It feels like with the proliferation of content creators, there are more of us now than there have ever been. I have a feeling that because there would be so like the board will be too full, the pool will be too high of personality driven things that I think the next pendulum swing on our side is going to go from like less like here's your vibe as an individual to like, what is the intellectual property that you own or move or push? Like, I feel like it's going to follow. And again, I don't like this. It feels like in my purview, it feels like in the creator space, it's going to kind of, well, I think you could follow the money to figure out why, but like that happened in Hollywood for money. And I feel like the money is now going to come for our thing. Have you felt any instances around that at all?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think we're kind of in a trial run right now with that, with some of like the largest of larger creators that are new and young and kind of thriving in the space is that a lot of it is becoming like commodified almost. And you're kind of watching, you're not just watching what people create, you're watching just them. Right. And a lot now is that it kind of began as just them. But when so much money and so many brands get involved with it, especially with live streaming, it becomes more of like a show. Right. And there's no possible way, and this is something that you and I would understand, or most people would know, when it's no way that one person does all. Right. I watch a YouTube channel and there's animations or there's voice acting or there's writing. There's no one guy that's doing these voices and you know what I mean? But with the content creation now, with like a lot of like the real, like the IRL content stuff like that, is that you see one guy presenting it and he's the face of it, but there's a whole entire team of hundreds of people getting like millions of dollars getting put into it that are the product of this thing, but it's all under the guise of one person. Yeah. So I think that we're kind of in a trial run right now, that just because even when on Twitch or YouTube, you're seeing a lot more stuff now that is the personalities are selling it to you, but the people that are creating it and are backing it are the companies and brands and whatever. So I absolutely think that there will be like it'll turn upside down and kind of go backwards, and that you think right now the creator has the power or whatever, and it's them making the decisions. But I don't think that lasts very long, because money talks, right? And
I'm curious if that pendulum does swing into our sort of wheelhouse in that direction. Is that going to leave I don't know what to call it, like the creativity gap or the gap in the public consciousness or zeitgeist that they want, where like movies will be free to kind of try to shift back? Like, is there a want that is going to ping pong back and forth between genres as the money keeps shifting? I don't know. We're getting a little too deep into the weeds, but I don't know. It's interesting because you're right. Bring it back to F1.
Yeah.
This is a movie star movie, and we don't get a lot of them. And I personally miss them. It sounds like you miss them too.
Yeah. I mean, like with F1, I'm watching it, and the cast is great. I really did care about every single character that was that got a lot of screen time in the movie. Even just the pit crew that didn't, like, even I can't remember his name, but the head guy of the pit crew, like, I wanted to see.
His name was Dodge. Abdul Salas.
Dodge.
Salas? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like, I wanted to see them shine, and there was just little moments of time where he'd come on screen, and he would, even like when Joshua would come back and would be late, or not late, Sonny would be early, right? Super early. And then Dodge would be like, hey, he's earlier than you are. Yeah. Like, but every character that got that bit of, like, that line in there that just kind of stuck, I care about all of them. But Brad Pitt, it's whenever he's on screen, that this is the guy. Yeah. Like, they're framing this movie as like, this is the guy. We expect you watching this to either know him beforehand or you're going to know him afterwards. Yeah. Right. Because he's on the screen. He commands it. Right. It's just, there's a level of, this guy he's just the guy. So I think this works so well because you have someone that can do that. Not saying, because even if Damson headed this, he would act great. He'd be phenomenal. It'd be a phenomenal movie still, but it'd be a different thing because Damson's so young and new to the business that he's not like, he doesn't come from the era of where there were movie stars still. And Brad Pitt is still one of them. Right. But it was interesting to feel it also in a new way, because this is an Apple movie. Apple is producing things. The budget was ridiculous. The money is shown on the screen. Yeah. Like,
well, by the time this comes out,
Yeah.
I imagine, because this will drop not this week, but next week. So I don't have a calendar in front of me, but it'll be out. By the time you're listening to this, if you haven't seen the film, I imagine it actually will be on Apple TV or Apple Plus, whatever it's called, by the time this happens. With the exception of, I believe, let me look up the box office mojo here as we are wrapping this up. Box office mojo. I'm curious how this film is actually doing.
I think it's doing great.
It's doing pretty well. I don't know what the budget is for this movie, but it's it's an Apple movie, so who knows? Right now, domestic it's 83 million and international it's 89. So a worldwide $172 million. I imagine this movie, well, and it's funny, you're going to counterbalance the 40 million in brand and ad deals with how much they spent in advertising. This does overall feel like it's a movie that is winning. And if we're looking at the over-under of like how it is growing, there's an interesting thing happening. And this could be because of July 4th weekend, et cetera. I don't have anything beyond July 3rd. But it was going fine, and then it dipped, and now it's starting to climb back up again. I think, and maybe I'll be wrong, I think word of mouth is getting around about this, and also Jurassic World Rebirth, and people are starting to make choices based on that word of mouth.
Right.
So the original plan was, if this movie bombed, I believe they were going to put on Apple TV like the next week.
Pretty fast.
I don't think it's bombing, and so I wonder if they might hold it a little longer before putting it on.
Yeah, keep it in theaters longer. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I read too that, to the movie star point, this is actually Brad Pitt's best opening ever in his entire career.
Really?
Like sales wise and the box office, this is his best opening weekend in his entire career. And it's also Apple's best, obviously. But yeah, it's wild, right? That in I think 40 years later, this is his best opening weekend.
Yeah.
And it's this movie, which again, I can't stress enough. Even if it comes to Apple TV, bro, go to IMAX, please.
Yeah,
please
if it's out, you got to do it. It's so worth it.
If it's still out, you hear this, please see it in IMAX. It'll blow your mind.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
If you have to, actually, oh God, I hate saying this. Like, I never want to shame people for how they can watch stuff, for instance. Yeah. But I was trying to think, like, could you watch this on your phone? I mean, you could physically, of course, watch it on your phone. I'd be curious. Email us in onlymoviepodcast@gmail.com. When this comes out, watch F1 the movie on your phone and let me know how that was.
Hey, if you got one of the newer ones, your screen's an OLED, bro, this might look incredible.
It might look great.
You know, it might look crazy.
So I just looked up. It seems like this movie cost roughly $300 million. So right now, this is a movie that feels like it will slowly eke back its money, but I think also it's doing much better than the analysts thought it was going to. I hope it stays in theaters and starts going on a bit of an upward trajectory. It jumped basically on July 2nd. It was down to the daily like 4 million. It went from 8 million to 4 million. And then on July 3rd, it went to 6 million. Now, again, it's going into the holiday weekend. Who knows?
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, man, this movie, I'm going to give you the final word, but I'll just say for my sort of last thought of it, I was shocked about how much I loved this film. This will be, I have a projector in my apartment. I will get this on physical 4K. This is a movie that was an instant sort of like buy, I want to own it. For me, I loved it to death. If you've been listening to us yammer for this long without seeing it, I still think it's worth it for you to go. Yeah, this was a phenomenal movie. And Balvin, thank you for telling me to go see it.
Hell yeah, man.
Balvin, final thoughts from you.
Man, as someone that was excited for this movie, just off of one trailer and just the concept looked really cool. The guy, Top Gun director, and Top Gun with cars, basically is what you get with this, with how it's shot. I still was surprised at how much I liked it, because I really was going into this I was expecting, you put it well, a dad movie, but I got a really good dad movie though. Like I got a really good one. Yeah. So yeah, I think all around incredible cast, great performances, some of the coolest sequences that I've ever seen in a theater before with the racing and the driving. And I loved it, bro. And even if this looks okay to you in a trailer, it'll surprise you with how much like depth and emotional connection you'll have to what's happening on the screen. And I think I low-key cooked earlier. You will leave feeling like you should have watched this movie with a $5 popcorn drinking snack combo, because you're gonna get taken back to the good old days. Like it genuinely felt like a good summer blockbuster. That's my final thoughts on it. This is the summer blockbuster.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, this has been the only podcast about the film F1 the movie. Balvin, thank you so much for finally coming on the show again.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, man. Apologies that it took so long, but we did it. It made sense. We held out for the
I'm
best.
Glad it was this one.
The best possible movie. When you are not flying yourself behind the wheel, where can folks find you?
Man, you will largely find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Balvin, BALVIN. I'm streaming a variety of games and yapping about things, whether it's movies or the world, whatever it might be. Other than that, every other social media, Twitter, or X, Instagram, TikTok, is Lord Balvin, so LORD Balvin. Come check me out, bro. If you like me here, you like me there.
Hell yeah. Also, you and I got to get on some Night Rain at some point. I don't know if you're done with that yet. I am not.
Brother, I've beat it and I'll play it again. I don't care.
I still got two. I got two left. I got two Night Lords left.
I just beat the last boss like last week.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah, I love that game so much, bro. Any day. Yeah. I'm so down.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, we will talk at you next week. What is the one after this? I think, no, maybe, I don't know when this is coming out because Shahir is gone. So everything's all over the place. We'll be back next week. I guarantee you it's about a movie. I just don't know which one it is. But until then, thank you for listening. We'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.